Yes.
Divya, Parul, is it visible?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. So we will start from where we stopped last evening. We have, I think we have reached here. Once again, we'll recap from Alfred Adler. Need for self-esteem can be thought of as one of the social need. More of, people, how people accept me. A person's sense of self-esteem depends on feedback from others. Generally, they say that is actually dangerous, which I'll tell you later. The need and anxiety to produce was emphasized by Adler. Everyone feels inferior to a certain degree. This motivates us to get better. So the other side of inferiority is that let me become much better of my own self. Common causes, parental neglect. If today, if you ask in earlier days, who's the best student to any teacher, teacher will say the one who's most obedient. And as a result, what happened? Creativity is creativity doesn't come because the one who's obedient, one who follows the book, one who follows the rules is the one. So what happened? Many people say that in the West, whenever a student is weak, they don't give any subjects, any special tuitions. Whenever a student is strong in certain subjects, they will have at least 2 to 3 teachers additional. For example, somebody is showing interest in physics, they will work on him that most of the Nobel Prize people are people who had weaknesses in one subject. So if you look at the Wimbledon, any badminton, have you seen both the players play on the weakness of others. Somebody is very good in backhand, so the other person will be always putting on the front end, and the other person also will be trying to do the other way. So 5 types of inferiority complex. Physical, like yesterday we said, and a body shaming is big in India, whereas in the West it doesn't happen. So that is a big problem for people who are short people. Yesterday we took the example of Hitler. Intellectual. Mm. Intellectual is a very subjective thing. For certain things, we may have certain ability. You know, in our village, we are told about a story. A professor gets into a boat and he asks, "Do you know anthropology?" So the boatman says, "I do not know." Then you know neurophysiology. He said, "I do not know." So when you do not know uh, anthropology, your 25% of life is gone. When you do not know neurophysiology, then another 25% of life is gone. Then he asked, "Do you know uh, another?" You know, he asked the same way. Do you know sociology? He said no. But the swimmer, but the boatman asked only one thing, "Sir, do you know to swim?" Because now swimology is more important. So for him, what is required for him to be functional? That is why even our yoga now, many people, very important, many people who study yoga. See, my mother used to be very watchful because I used to read a lot. So she says there is always a combination of yukti and bhakti. Yukti is your logic. So whenever you do anything, your logic should not be swallowed by your devotion. Then what happens is that you are blindly following it. And then you have a fear when you don't follow it. So intellectual, psychological. Now, just remind me later, we'll do the defense mechanism. Just write and keep somebody. 5 kind of defense mechanism, which is actually not taught, but it is important to learn. The next one is social, which doesn't require explanation. Social acceptance. See, one of the tests which I mentioned yesterday is something called FIROB, FIROB, Fundamental Interpersonal Relationship Orientation Behavior. The need for affiliation is very, very high. That whenever I go somewhere, people should accept me. So this test will actually tell whether somebody's need for affiliation is very high. And economical. That is, different strata of the society. Not everybody who has come from the lower rung has become successful. And there's a classic case of economic. There was a there was a prisoner who had done lot of crime. So a press reporter went, said now he's going to be hanged or he's going to be sentenced. In the West, they sentence for 100 years, 80 years. So he went and he met. When he met, he spent time with him and asked him, what happened? How did you become like this? So the person said, because of my father. He said he used to stay in a ghetto. Ghetto means what we call slums. In America, it is known as ghetto. He said My father used to come fully drunk and he used to beat my mother. And whatever I have learned is from my father. But later somebody told this interviewer that there is a person, his twin brother is there. Why don't you go and interview him? The person was a banker in Manhattan. So when he was asked, how did you become like this? He said, my father. He said, what? Whatever my father did, no, to my mother, and as children, how we suffered, no, I didn't want my wife nor my children to do that. So same college, same school, same textbook, same syllabus, same teacher. So, how people channelize is very important and it is not easy. So, two methods of coping with inferiority complex, superiority complex. To deal with inferiority, people either overcompensate. That again, when we come to this defense mechanism, we'll get to know. For example, always remember Hitler is a classic example. If you see the Great Dictator movie, Charlie Chaplin has acted. They off all the lights everywhere, and they put only one light spotlight for him, so that people. And then his speech is very very powerful. He shouts and he speaks. So he has taken it to the other extreme. Other extreme. Okay. As a result, they say all genocide, everything happened because of his inferiority complex turned into hatred against the Jews. So overcompensating is always a problem. Overall, the way to deal with inferiority, people either overcompensate by engaging in vocal behavior or become lazy, tentative, and helpless. The last three words are very important. In simple words, we say attention seeking. Attention seeking is very, very important. Even at a higher level, there are people who become a part of a team in the organization and they are grown up like that. Also, write and keep something called situational leadership. In that, it is clearly shown. Okay, these are all not part of the syllabus, but I am excited to teach all this. Situational leadership also we will cover, provided our Menon sir gives me additional class. He is behind me with the AK-47.
I also taught Panchakoshas as well as
Yeah.
cyclic meditation, all which is not in the syllabus.
Okay. So, overall, the way people overcome inferiority provides the basis for their lifelong personality. See, compensation has to be very careful. For example, if you look at the best example is Dr. Abdul Kalam. And the other one is India had a president called K.R. Narayan. Okay, he used to sit outside the street light and study, and he became the president of India. You all have seen the movie Srikant Bola, new movie has come. It's an original true
Yeah,
story.
and Jyotika is also there.
Yeah,
Rajkumar Rao Jyotika, yeah, yeah.
Rajkumar and Volant Industries. To type, it is a real story, and how he's trying to overcompensate to a level that his ego goes up. And luckily for him, at that right time, his ego was brought down. It's a classic example of this. So let us look at cognition, process of knowing, attending, remembering, reasoning. In simple words, it is knowing. Okay. And how that knowing is happening is because of attention, remembering what you have learned, reasoning, content of the process, concepts, memories. For that, thinking, knowing, remembering, communicating. The process includes attention, the process through which we focus on some stimulus. Perception, the process through which we interpret sensory information. I think in Patanjali Yoga Sutra, they talk about that. Correct, no? Drishta and all those things, they'll be. So sometimes what happened, no, when we perceive not the perceived. We perceive the perceiver. That means our I-ness is there. When we see something, no, we are not seeing the objective thing. We see ourselves. Perceived perceives the perceiver, and the perceived perceives the percept. If the percept happens, that means it is an objective. The process through which we classify stimuli into known categories and memory. The process through which information is stored for later retrieval and so on. Many a time you have seen, if we are little tensed, for example, if you hear a soft music, you hear some song and you are not able to recollect which song. So what happens is that actually what they say between the object and the memory, our our nerves become very tight. As a result, what happened? There is a membrane created. This membrane grows and covers the object. You just relax, forget it. After some time, you'll say, I know this song. So that is how it is. Same way, I give this example when somebody, I take Divya's ring and I try to put it on my hand. While putting it, it goes that side. And then when I'm trying to pull it out, I am having tension. It doesn't come because my emotions are guided there. Suppose somebody is standing next to me, he'll say, why don't you put some soap and water? It will come. Actually, what goes this side, we should come that side. But because suddenly the pressure changes, it becomes difficult. Okay. There are no other people who are superior to the individual striving forward, which leads that person to feel superior to everyone else. The individual has achieved their desired level or definition of success, which causes them to stop pressing forward because reached a, they have reached a feeling of internal superiority. Now here, what they say, success is a journey, not a destination. Because what happened the moment you reach one level, beyond a level, it is the fall. Because you have reached a level and you are not moving away, then the fall happens. There are roadblocks on the journey from inferiority to superiority that cause an individual to stop pursuing their definition of success for some reason, such as poverty, geographic location, or political interference. Here, that is why I'm telling you, you watch that movie, all factors were against. University norms were against. And still, how he battled it. So, cognitive psychology means, you know, the, how to know things. Human intelligence perceives attention, memory, thinking and problem solving, and language. So there is a field called semantics. Whatever you are thinking, the language has to play a very, very decisive role. Okay. Now I think let us go to the first syllabus part. Yeah, I think 3.8 we will be now doing 3.8. It's very interesting, emotions. When I was doing my teacher's course, my project was on yoga and emotions. Menon sir, what was your project for TTC?
Teacher's training course. Increase life span for senior citizens through yogic techniques.
Yeah. Lot of people later, lot of people later called me after seeing this copy. But during that time, I was working also. So it's a wonderful subject. Okay. Now, my Nasik article is on this only. Beyond emotion, the spiritual question. IQ nahi, EQ nahi, SQ. According to Crow and Crow, emotion is an effective experience that accompanies generalized inner adjustment and mental and physiological stirred up states in the individual, and that shows itself in his overt behavior. Overt and covert. Emotion is a subjective feeling, and the experience of emotions vary from person to person. In psychology, attempts have been made to identify basic emotions. It has been noted that at least 6 emotions are experienced and recognized everywhere. They are fear, they are anger, disgust, fear, happiness, sadness, and surprise. Lazard has proposed a set of 10 basic emotions: joy, surprise, anger, disgust, contempt, fear, shame, guilt, interest, and excitement, with a combination of them resulting in other emotions. So, what is emotion? A broad range of feeling that people experience. It's a feeling. Okay. It can be anything. It is a feeling, not general feeling. That feeling which actually becomes more intense, that are directed towards someone or something. Because otherwise it is a feeling. It is not free floating. And as a result, what happens? Feelings that tend to be less intense than emotions and lack of contextual stimulation. So it is much more than the feelings. Because now it is affecting the mood. Any doubt? So
So is there
our own,
classification of emotion?
yeah.
Okay.
Our Navarasa is there. This is happy, sad, fear, anger, surprise, disgust. This is our Navarasa. People who are into dance and all will know that. There's a book. There is a beautiful book called I think his name is Marchand, Marchand. That book talks about yoga and 9 emotions. Beautiful book. So Sringara, this is basically from our Indian way. This is the ultimate rasa, the crown emotion that heals anything. This rasa frees the ego, see the word, and connects us to devotional love. When we appreciate beauty, it connects us to the source of love. It's creative play between Shiva and Shakti, sun and moon, yin and yang. The purpose of the universe is to experience this divine love. This love is inherent in everything. It is within each and every one of us and radiates through the cosmos. Asya, joy. This rasa connects us to our sense of humor through laughter, happiness, and contentment. When we laugh, it is easier to slip into a no mind state. It is actually what you call it after Purak, Kumbhakavas. It is almost like that, even though there is no classification like that. When we laugh, it is easier to slip into a no mind state. In Kumbhak, that is why, in people who are having psychiatric complaints are never taught Kumbhak, never taught Kumbhak, because the mind has been freed from its usual workload of thoughts, and we can simply be open, free, and happy in this moment. Yeah.
One more addition is there. Kumbhak should not be taught to all new students. Only after the thorough practice of Purak and Rechak, only when the exhalation is twice that of Purak, then only the Kumbhak has to start. Please remember that
Absolutely.
when you teach your junior students.
No, very important. What can happen? It can affect your mental state. A very famous theory. This theory suggests that environment stimuli elicit physiological response from the viscera, the internal organs like the heart and the lungs, which in turn are associated with muscle movement. For example, startling at an unexpected intense noise triggers activation in visceral and muscular organs followed by an emotional arousal. Put in other words, James Lange theory argues that your perception about your body changes, like rapid breathing, a pounding heart, and running legs following an event bring forth emotional arousal. The main implication made by this theory is that particular events or stimuli provoke particular physiological changes, and the individual's perception of these changes result in the emotion being experienced. For example, a road accident. Immediate thing is that increased heart rate, perspiration, fear. Now what happens? The stimuli is specific physiological changes, perception of physiological changes, emotions experienced. When we were in Tata Institute, they had shown us trauma related. They first showed us a deer being deer is being chased by a tiger, leopard. And every time when it is nearby, nearing, we feel it should not catch, it should not catch, it should not catch. Okay. And they ask us to record our emotions, what you felt. After that, they show us the tiger. In a day, tiger can run only like that twice. The energy which is expended for catching a prey, it does not happen on the second time. The tiger suffers cardiac arrest and tiger also dies. Then we start thinking, no, it is a survival of the fittest. So then what happens? At that time, when you start realizing, so that means what? Everything, at the back of everything, there are things which you don't realize. And what you see, you believe. Just a second, huh? Drink a little water.
Sir, this will also create PTSD, na? A person who is constantly experiencing the same emotion will constantly have fear. So that is also a post-traumatic
Very
stress which
much,
the person
very much.
experience.
Yes, very much. Post-traumatic disorders, even those practices are very, very different. Very different. It can bring back, for example, certain practices no, are not allowed. Okay, since it's a very mature group. For example, uh, Ananda Bala said, holding leg, holding both the thigh, holding both the thumb, the toe, and pulling. That is not allowed. Because what happens is that if there is any assault, immediately it triggers and it is becoming very difficult. So those asanas are not taught, not taught. So this we have to relate to our psychosomatic things. Because what happens is that every illness, both communicable as well as non-communicable disease today are due to psychosomatic. They say NCD, and NCD means non-communicable and CD means communicable disease. For example, COVID also, people's immunity, and immunity gets affected by fear. Normally, non-communicable disease, we say cardiology, diabetology, oncology, then derma. Okay, these are major illnesses which doesn't spread. But all these illnesses are having connection with the brain. Total connections with the brain. Cardiac is a classic example. Like last time I said, no, between the carotids and for example, practices like Brahma Mudra is basically for that. So all illnesses. Now, all illnesses, communicable disease also. If there is a fear, no, people catch. Infectious diseases, people catch. Yeah. Most psychologists today believe that our cognition, that is our perception, memories, interpretation are essential ingredients of emotions. So what does it mean? Seeing is not believing every time. You need to, they say, no, you have to take a pinch of salt. Take it with a pinch of salt. Because most of the time now, what you directly experience may not be the truth. Perception itself is a topic. I did that, Rotary Club had called me long back, from 10 years back. So the topic was perception. And they literally loved it. They said, yeah, I think this is good. We need to we need to show our 1 second. Huh? Hello. Doctor. Ah, ah, ah. Okay, okay, okay. So I told 26, no, 46. Ah, yeah, I had seen that. And this father, every time calls me because what happened, he's 75 and they have reached a level that, sorry, that was Divya, your neighbor, Dr. Amit Gire. You know Amit Gire?
Yeah,
He only called
he's
up.
a this
Physiotherapist.
physiotherapist. Yeah, yeah.
Brilliant guy. So he's at hometown. I wanted some help for somebody. Sorry, huh? Okay. So here, perception, memory. See, sometimes what happen, no? For no reason, past incidences will make us label certain things because past experience was bad. Okay. But it need not be, and especially it may be with a different person. And you feel, array, earlier my person has cheated me, I have a setback. So that perception also corrupts your, it plays with your emotions. Memories, interpretations are essential ingredients of emotions. That is where this transformational vocabulary as a subject has done. What they do, for every word, they have a substitute. For example, if you say, somebody has said, I have lost my key, they'll say, no, you are searching for a key. Lost means you are associating it with the negative emotion. So when you say search, you will get it. It's very, very interesting topic, transformational vocabulary. So that is why interpretations are essential ingredients of emotions. Same experiences, people, like Swami Sukhabodhananda says, no, somebody is waiting for 5 years to get divorced to somebody. And there is another person who is waiting for the last 5 years to get married to the same person. And then they are successful. See, my theory on that is, you know what? Correct me if I'm wrong. It's always two good people who have problem. Okay. Always just watch. Two good people will have a problem. One is good and one is bad. They'll say, Arey, chalo na. When both are bad, no, they don't have. When both are good, no problem. I have classic examples. Two major divorces have happened in front of me, and I know both of them. Husband and wife both know me, my family. You meet them, no, they are wonderful people, but together they cannot live. So that is how it is. Okay, little theory I brought in because see, emotions are a good topic
One
for you
minute.
all.
What is the inference from that, Divya? He just quoted an example, no? When two good people are there, or two psychologically, what is the problem there? Can you tell me what is the problem?
So what I can infer is that basically you do not have to be extreme. If you have extreme emotions, then that will create a conflict. So it should be a balance.
So why the differences arises? Why the differences arise? Because two good people or two bad people.
So like how you say, na, the only thing I can remember now is you say a positive and a like a plus minus is always equal. So a positive and a negative, not in an extreme sense, but if a good person and a good person stays together, again they might have problem. So a positive person, a good person, and a comparatively lesser good person, they might make a good match because there the wavelength will match.
Psychologically, I feel, if you can correct me, ego clashes. That leads to that separation. Barabar hai?
That is also there. See, now, generally what happens is that, no, I'll send a video to all three of you. Okay, I'll put in the group. A lot of adjustment has to be required. Life is full of adjustment. The moment you try to find out who is right, it's gone. What is right? Okay. The moment you try to find out who is right, finished. I'll give you a beautiful video. It's only 15 minutes. That is a South Indian guy. He became one of the best speaker in US, speaking on the same topic. Okay, I'll not make you people lose interest. Harul, want to add anything?
Yeah, no, actually, it's a bit confusing for me. How can like two good people would always compromise, now? They would complement and compromise also. So
May,
I
may
don't know.
not
I'm
be.
not okay.
That is where Menon sir says that both of them are good for what? Between them, they have to be good. Okay, between them, they have to be good. So if you meet each of them separately, you will find both of them good. So I used to tell my wife, whenever people write, no, sir, I met you. You were so courteous. You came down with us to the lift, everything. So I forwarded to her. So she will write, ah, ha, ha. These people are thoroughly mistaken. God bless them.
But
Uh,
it's more about core values, sir. If I understand, I've never been in such a situation, so my complete ignore. I mean, I'm not aware of it. But just thinking of it from a
no,
third person.
that video will answer that. Okay, it's a very
Okay.
interesting video. See, generally what happens, no? In Kerala, they say, no, it's like stone and the jasmine flower. Okay, jasmine flower can become weak. Stone requires certain jasmine flower, whereas jasmine flower requires little strength. So when I give this example, my wife asks, "Who's the stone?"
Yes.
No, you watch that video. It's a lot of adjustment. So every time, no, when somebody writes no, I'll forward it to her. She says, "Yeah." She will write, "Ah, ah, ah." She'll say, "Oh, thoroughly mistaken. God bless them."
Okay.
Okay, see that video, and I think this is see, psychology has to do with a lot of things with our day-to-day life. Okay, best part is that it will help you to interact with anybody. Today, while coming in the lift, I generally jump to take opportunity to help every day. So somebody is going to the lift, I will ensure that I make the person go there. Okay. So then I was talking to the person. I said, you look like an intellect. First time I'm seeing her in my building. She says, is it because of my gray hair? I said, no. You literally you look gray hair. And I said, I have little coming in, not fully gray. So we became friends. She said, my brother is in 15th floor. So it helps you to always remember A before E. Accept. The moment you learn to accept people, no, your expectations will change.
So then here
Cultural,
type A and type B personality will also come, na? If the person is type A or type B personality,
yes, very
that will
much.
also matter.
Yes. Type A people generally feel, that competitiveness the other people will not be able to manage. It's more of a rajasic element, which is essential. But then what happened? The burnout is very high. there is something called, see, always there is something called eustress. Now, in type A, eustress balances sometimes go to the other extreme. Eustress means positive stress. It will make you achievement oriented. It will make you meet deadlines. But to what extent?
I taught yesterday in stress management, eustress and distress.
Yeah. For example, now there was a Reliance had a CEO. Reliance Retail had a CEO. Earlier he was with Future Group. Okay. He was in his early 50s. He used to tell everybody that work like me. Okay, Raghu Pillai. You type on the Google and see Raghu Pillai, right and keep. And he used to tell people, Arey, you people are so young and you don't have this energy, this, that. When he was in hometown, no, he was playing with his daughter. He fell on her and died there on the spot. Massive heart attack. What happened? The software and the hardware are different. Software is what you think. How much it is supported by your hardware? That means your heart, you do not know. So your competitiveness makes you go into a very deep unconscious level and looks at more of acceptance. People should feel that I'm very, very fast. Now the other side is what you know. You all know something called Johari window? Joseph and Harry. You all would have done. Divya would have done. In which every strength, for example, somebody says, I'm very quick in taking decision. Other person feels it is its weakness. Whenever you go to something and show it to him, he will quickly, without reading, he will sign and give. So what we feel is a strength is a weakness. So everything, no, for example, in chemistry, you take anything, you boil water to a higher level, water changes into water vapor. So anything you stretch beyond a level, no, it becomes something else. So any strength is like that. Okay, cultural learning influences the expression of emotions more than what is experienced. For example, some culture encourage pre-emotional expression, whereas other culture teach people through modeling and reinforcement to reveal little of their emotions in public. For example, there is something called Landmark Forum. It is happening in Bandra. A lot of people go for it. They do something called catharsis. Catharsis is allowing your uh, emotions to come out. So people cry. Okay. Otherwise, what happens is that they are all repressed thoughts. When we do this defense mechanism, we'll get to know. Learning has a great deal to do with the stimuli that produce emotional reactions. It has been shown that individuals with excessive fear,
One experience I'll share with you. The crying the emotions, burning out the emotions. I had attended a Siddha Samadhi yoga, and they take the last 2 days for complete relaxation, and they try to bring out all your emotions out. So people start actually crying out. They take you to the past. They take you to the memories of their mother and father. I arrive at good events, bad emotional events, which are the events which have taken place with your father and mother. Just try to reconnect. Come on, reconnect. Come on, reconnect. In the same way, so they see that all the emotions are burned out. All the subconscious mind are which are lying in the emotions that gets burned out. This is my yogic experience I had some 10, 15 years back. Yeah.
I went for that and I came out because these people have the habit of they close everything. Everything is closed, dark.
Second
I
experience was Vipassana. Second
yeah,
experience was Vipassana.
yeah.
Continuous anapanasati, anulom vilom throughout the day. Whereas we practice only 5 minutes here only in the morning or evening. Okay. Continuous.
Sir,
Ah,
these
sorry.
people these people have to 8 o'clock. I
Yeah,
always
yeah.
tell,
So
yeah. So learning has a deal to do with the stimuli that produces emotional reaction. It has been shown that individuals with excessive fear phobia of elevators, automobiles, and the like learn these fears through modeling, classical conditioning, or avoidance conditioning. Now, NLP does that. Okay, NLP does that. And here,
Actually, sorry, sir. Divya and I, we were thinking asking you at some point about NLP. So, do you think it would be good to have for even us to be level one something
What?
NLP ka course? I mean, for us, Divya and me, like in general, from the yogic perspective also, like in near future.
Yeah, you let me know through whom you're going to do. Okay, because NLP, I was training the trainers in Chennai. You have to be very
Lovely.
careful because now NLP has become very widely, commercialized. Otherwise, it's good to learn. No doubt, it is good to learn. Sorry. So remind me about that video. Very interesting video. Motivation. Now our Divya's Maslow will come. Little more we'll do. The concept of motivation focuses on explaining what moves of behavior. Okay. Most of the time, earlier days, you really look at something else, somebody else to motivate. The truth is what you know. Self-development is a lonely path. Always remember that. Remember the words. Self-development is a lonely path. You need to walk on your own. You need to be putting your own model. That how I like myself to be seen first, not what others think. How I like myself to be seen. Myself to be seen as a wonderful human being, scholar, strong, brilliant, not arrogant, humility. So those that should be your 10 commandments. Based on that, you will have to design. First is design, then develop, then a phase called demonstrate before you really put it out. So that whatever your life, what you want to plan, that is important. Okay, earlier motivation generally says that it need not be always triggered from outside. See, that is where there are people who come and give stirring speeches. How much time it will remain? They say hardly 72 hours. After that, you are back to square one. So there is, for example, no habit is like that. They say HABIT. Even if H is removed, a bit remains. If A is removed, bit remains. If B is removed, it removes. It remains. So consciously, motivation is not something which earlier, we'll say somebody can motivate you. No, nobody can motivate you. Always remember, self-development is a lonely path. A drive is a state of tension or arousal produced by a need. It energizes random. See, when it comes from inside, no, it will last. When one of the random activities lead to a goal, it reduces the drive and the organism stop being active. The organism returns to a balanced state. So, one is the need. Need has to drive you to action. And this drive has to be very deep. Like, Abdul Kalam says, dreams are not one which you see when you sleep. Dreams are the ones which will not make you sleep. That way. Goal directed behavior, achievement, and after achievement, the reduction of arousal. This arousal is very, very important. Okay. Something you have to emotionally think that, yes, I am going to do it. There, if energy lacks, then finished. Yes, our Divya's friend has come. I said Divya's friend has come. Needs were categories as 5 levels of lower, higher order needs. Individual must satisfy lower level needs before they can satisfy. Lower level needs means roti kapda makan. Okay. Satisfied needs will no longer motivate. Motivating a person depends on knowing at what level that a person is on the hierarchy. This will explain everything. See, basic needs, which actually our body requires: food, water, warmth, rest. The moment that happens, we can look at our career. The moment that happens, then the kind of thought happens at a security and safety. People think of having a job, people thinking of having a home. Once that is satisfied, then comes from there onwards, it is psychological. Just watch. Belongingness and love needs, intimate relationship, friends. Because it is not like, somebody goes to work, come back. Even at this belongingness, all these things can happen even with the family. Okay. So psychological needs are met there. Then comes esteem needs. Now there it starts trying to contribute back. Prestige and a feeling of accomplishment. Then the last stage is where people like Asim Premji. Just watch Asim Premji versus uh, Mukesh Ambani. How the marriages happened, both the marriages, if you compare. Self-actualization is achieving one's full potential, including creative activities. Here, most of the social service, all those kind of activities happen there. So the first two, see the transition. First two are basic needs. So when you teach somebody, you have to always remember, what is that person? See, for example, somebody comes to your yoga class. The person may be looking at becoming healthy to go for his work. Okay. So it may be more of a physical need, physiological needs. Belongingness and love needs. Then what happens? The practice also changes. So it's more of, the first two will be at a Rajasic level. The first one may be at a Tamasic level, moving to a Rajasic level. Then belongingness and love needs, esteem needs, self-actualization. That is slowly moving to a level where, yeah, we'll take one or two slides more. And remind me whatever I am supposed to send it to you, I'll send it to you today. David McClelland, need theory, need for achievement. The need for achievement, the desire to excel and succeed. It's more like a social need. McClelland's theory of needs is a beautiful theory. Need for achievement, drive to excel, achieve in relation to a set of standards, strive to succeed. Need for power, to control others, to get desired things done. Need for affiliation, friendship, good relationship. You will never possess what you are unwilling to pursue. I think we'll stop here because here, we'll spend more time. Thoughts are there, huh? Thoughts are there. So just remember, we stopped at David McClelland. And exam, what all things are going to come for exam, that we'll say separately check. So psychology is very vast. You don't have to worry about uh, going through this PPT. We'll have something separate.
So do we have to remember the names? Like Maslow's hierarchy, McClellan? No.
I will look at the book and find out which are the ones. Menon sir, any closing remarks?
And it's excellent. See, yeah, it has covered more than that syllabus, what is required. Different psychology, different way of thinking, and different patterns.
It depends, no? Good students are there in front. It always is like that.
When intelligent students like you are there, so we feel motivated to give more and more.
Yeah, that receptiveness is very high for both of them. Receptiveness is very high.
Sir, for nerve gas only two were
One
added.
minute, 1 minute.